What if the kind, quiet old lady next door, the one everyone trusted, was hiding a dark secret? Could someone so unassuming be capable of terrifying crimes? Today, we uncover the chilling story of Juana Barraza, Mexico's notorious serial killer known as La Mataviejitas. Before we dive into this story, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more shocking true crime stories. Early life of Juana Barraza. Juana Barraza Sampaio was born on December 27, 1957, in Epazoyucan, Hidalgo, Mexico. Her childhood was marked by extreme hardship. She was the daughter of a teenage mother and allegedly suffered sexual abuse from her own father. Abandoned and neglected, Juana grew up in poverty and endured repeated trauma that would shape her psychology. As a young girl, she found herself caught between survival and fear, learning to hide her emotions and wear a mask of innocence. Her early experiences with abuse and abandonment left deep emotional scars, which experts believe contributed to her later violent behavior. Life as a wrestler. Before her notorious killings, Juana became a professional wrestler under the name La Dama del Silencio, the Lady of Silence. Wrestling offered her a way to channel aggression and gain recognition, but it also reflected her fascination with control and power. Despite her wrestling career, Juana remained socially isolated. She struggled with relationships, and her interactions with the world outside were often marked by distrust and anger. The crimes begin in the late 1990s. Mexico City was shaken by a series of murders targeting elderly women. The killer would gain access to their homes by pretending to be a government official, social worker, or salesperson. Once inside, she would strangle her victims, often stealing valuables after the act. Juana's method was consistent. She focused on women over the age of 60, exploiting their vulnerability. The elderly victims were chosen not only for ease of access but also because they reminded her of her own troubled childhood and the women who had failed to protect. Her escalation and media attention as the body count rose. The Mexican media dubbed her La Mataviejitas, Spanish for the little old lady killer. The city was gripped by fear. Women lived in terror of strangers knocking at their doors. Investigators faced challenges due to the killer's ability to blend in, using her unassuming appearance to deceive neighbors and authorities alike. Juana became more confident with each murder. Her killings were not random. She carefully planned her approach, studied her victims, and ensured minimal risk of being caught. Despite her increasing notoriety, she maintained a facade of normalcy in her daily life. Psychological criminal psychologists studied Juana extensively after her arrest. They suggested that her crimes were a mixture of revenge, trauma, and control. Many of her victims symbolized maternal figures or authority women in her life, representing those who had abandoned or harmed her as a child. Her method of strangulation and careful planning pointed to both anger and meticulous organization. Unlike some impulsive killers, Juana carefully selected her targets, creating a pattern that ultimately helped investigators profile her. Investigation and capture authorities faced a daunting challenge, as Juana avoided leaving forensic evidence. However, surveillance footage, eyewitness accounts, and persistent investigative work slowly narrowed down suspects. Juana Barraza was finally arrested in 2006. Her unassuming demeanor shocked everyone. She looked like a regular elderly woman, but her confession revealed a dark history of murder. Juana admitted to killing at least 16 elderly women, though some estimates suggest the number could be higher. Trial and sentencing. During her trial, Juana showed no remorse for her crimes, often displaying calmness and detachment. The media coverage was extensive, with newspapers and television reporting every gruesome detail. In 2008, Juana Barraza was sentenced to 759 years in prison for her crimes, the maximum under Mexican law, although she would serve a fraction of that. The case became a landmark in Mexico's criminal history and sparked debates about juvenile abuse, psychological trauma, and the effectiveness of law enforcement in preventing serial crimes. Public reaction and legacy. Juana's case left a lasting impression on Mexico. The nickname La Mataviejitas became infamous, representing the terrifying idea that evil can hide behind an innocent appearance. Elderly citizens became more cautious, and the government introduced programs to improve senior safety. Her story also became a subject of psychological studies, true crime documentaries, and books exploring the link between childhood trauma and later violent behavior. It raised questions about how society addresses abuse and neglect, and the long-term consequences of such early life experiences. Reflection and lesson. Juana Barraza's life is a grim reminder of the complex interplay between trauma, psychology, and criminal behavior. Her victims were innocent, elderly women who trusted her, yet she exploited that trust with deadly precision. Her story forces us to ask difficult questions. Could someone in your community be hiding a dark side? How do we protect the most vulnerable among us? Understanding cases like Juana's helps us recognize warning signs, educate communities, and improve protections for the elderly. Juana Barraza, the Mataviejitas, was a paradox, a woman whose appearance suggested fragility and kindness, yet whose actions revealed a chilling capacity for violence. Her story reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, and evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. If this story shocked you, and you want to hear more about true crime cases that defy belief, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Stay aware, stay informed, and remember, sometimes danger hides behind the kindest smile.